When we talk about why some women quickly choose others and step into new relationships or encounters, the first thing we must understand is the psychology of novelty. The human brain is built to react more strongly to the new than to the familiar. It's an evolutionary mechanism. New opportunities, new people, new impressions were always a chance to survive, to get more, to move forward. But the difference lies in how people handle it. Some can find balance between stability and novelty, while others become almost addicted to the effect of novelty. For such a woman, relationships feel like a race. The beginning is always dazzling. Butterflies in her stomach, excitement, endless late-night talks, the intoxicating sense that the entire world revolves around this new story. This stage is powered by powerful chemical reactions in the brain: dopamine, serotonin, endorphins. She feels alive, desired, unique. But once those hormones stabilize, once the fire of passion becomes the warmth of daily routine, she starts to feel an emptiness. And here comes the turning point. Instead of learning how to build depth, to go through the phase of familiarity, to work on strengthening the bond, she chooses the easier path, searching again for that first-time effect. A different man, a different gaze, different words, different touches. And suddenly the world lights up with color again. But here's the trap. Novelty always has an expiration date. It always fades. This creates a vicious circle. Every new relationship begins like a festival and ends in boredom. And the more often this happens, the harder it becomes for her to bear the silence that follows. Because silence is a mirror, and in that mirror, she would finally have to face herself. It's important to understand, the pursuit of novelty isn't always about sex or even love. More often, it's about avoiding the ordinary, about dodging real closeness. Because true intimacy isn't only about passionate nights. It's also about routine mornings, responsibilities, and conversations where you drop the mask and reveal your vulnerability. And for a woman who thrives only in the fire of new passions, such vulnerability feels either boring or dangerous. That's why she runs to where the illusion still burns brightly. She can tell herself, "I can't stand routine," or "I just want to feel alive." But the deeper truth is this: she is afraid of stability, afraid that in stability, the magic will vanish. She believes that love without fireworks isn't love at all. And so she runs from one man to the next, convincing herself she's searching for something better. But what she's actually chasing isn't better. It's novelty itself, like a drug. And the real question is, how much longer will novelty be enough to fill the emptiness inside? One of the deepest reasons why women quickly move from one man to another is the endless need to constantly prove their own worth. On the outside, she may look confident, independent, even untouchable. She might laugh and say things like, "Men are always chasing me," or throw bold lines such as, "I know I deserve better." But behind these words lies a constant hunger, a hunger for attention, for compliments, for feeling desired. Her inner self never feels full. One man tells her, "You're the most beautiful," and it feels good, but only for a moment. Soon she needs to hear it from someone else. And then another, and another. Every new man becomes a mirror, reflecting back to her. "Yes, I see you. Yes, you matter. Yes, you're wanted." It's crucial to understand that this behavior isn't always about promiscuity or carelessness. Often, it grows from deep insecurity, from early wounds where she felt unseen, unloved, or unappreciated. Now, every new man becomes living proof. I still have it. I am worth something. The Stervazna type of woman does this openly, almost proudly. She may even throw it in her partner's face. "Don't think you're the only one who wants me. I know I'm wanted by everyone." It's her weapon, her way of reminding him, "I'm above you because my desire is always in demand." But here's the paradox. The more validation she gets, the faster it loses its meaning. Compliments become ordinary. Attention becomes background noise. Gifts become routine. And so she must go find a new man to give her that first spark again. The glow of admiration, the shine in his eyes, the excitement that tells her, "I am still important." The problem is, this process never ends. It becomes a cycle: new partner, new validation, quick fading, new search. Each time she leaves, she convinces herself the reason is, He didn't appreciate me. But the real truth is this. She cannot appreciate herself. This is a psychological paradox. The person who seems the strongest and most untouchable is often the one trapped in the deepest weakness. She is dependent, not on love, but on external mirrors, because inside her own mirror is empty. And that's why she quickly chooses others and sleeps with them. Not because each new man is truly special, but because each new man postpones the real question, can I love myself if nobody else is telling me I'm special right now? There's another powerful reason why some women quickly choose other men. It's not about lust, not about passion. It's about fear, the fear of intimacy. Not physical closeness, but real emotional intimacy, the kind that strips away masks and reveals who we truly are. At the start of a relationship, she may appear open, playful, carefree. She can talk for hours, laugh loudly, even share personal stories. But don't mistake this for true intimacy. It's not depth, it's performance. It's the version of herself she wants you to see, the polished character she has practiced. And when the moment comes for real vulnerability, when a man begins to notice her fears, her flaws, the fragile parts of her she tries to hide, panic begins to rise inside her, because intimacy is a mirror. And looking into that mirror is terrifying if you're not ready to meet your own reflection. That's why, when relationships move into a more serious phase, when responsibility and authenticity are required, she starts to feel suffocated. Where honesty is needed, she chooses escape. Where building is needed, she destroys. Where love asks for her open up, she closes the door. From the outside, it looks like carelessness. She just can't be loyal, or she's addicted to fun. But inside, it's fear. The fear that if someone truly sees her, all of her, not just a curated version, they'll be disappointed. The fear that her real self is not enough. So she runs, not towards someone new, but away from someone old, away from a man who is getting too close. With each new partner, she gets to reset the game. A new man doesn't know her insecurities. He hasn't yet seen behind the curtain. With him, she can put the mask back on. She can be perfect again, admired again, desired again. But the cycle never ends, because eventually, every partner wants more than just the surface. Every man wants to see the truth. And when that moment approaches, she flees once more. It's not that she is searching for the perfect man. She is running from the perfect encounter, the one with herself. And this is why women afraid of intimacy often quickly choose others. Not because each new man is the one, but because each new man is a temporary escape from the terrifying idea that someone might truly see them. For her, the fear of being seen is greater than the desire to be loved. True intimacy is born where there is trust and vulnerability. But for some women, sex stops being a language of love. It turns into a tool of power, not a way to open up, but a way to control, not a way to unite, but a way to dominate. These women quickly move on to others because for them, intimacy is not about us, it's about me. It's about how much influence they can exert over someone's desires. It's about how easily they can make a man lose control. It's about proving their superiority, about elevating themselves in their own eyes through the ability to manipulate. In psychology, this process is often called objectification. She doesn't see her partner as a person, but as a resource. One man is for gifts, another for status, a third for excitement. And sex becomes currency. She invests it, expecting dividends, attention, validation, and control. This is why such a woman never fears losing a man. To her, every new conquest isn't a loss, but another confirmation of her power. She doesn't live by the principle, I want to be loved. She lives by, I want to be desired. And the difference is enormous. The dynamic looks like this. She can insult, provoke, even push her partner away. But later she herself reignites the flame by offering intimacy at the exact moment it benefits her. Not because she seeks closeness, but because she craves control. And the more men she attracts into her orbit, the more proof she collects of her supposed strength. But here lies the tragedy. Because where sex ceases to be a language of love, it becomes a game that never provides true fulfillment. A game that always demands new players, new partners, new confirmations. This is why a woman who treats intimacy as a tool of power never truly stops. She quickly chooses others, not because those men are special, but because they are mirrors. Mirrors in which she can once again admire her supposed dominance. But this isn't real power. It's dependence. Dependence on the game itself. A fear of admitting that without control, without manipulation, she doesn't know how to experience genuine closeness. Most people dream of stability. A home where it's calm, evenings that are peaceful, a partner beside you with whom you can drop the mask and simply be yourself. But for some women, stability doesn't feel like safety, it feels like prison. For them, boredom is the greatest enemy, because boredom brings them face to face with real life. The everyday, the responsibilities, the absence of constant fireworks. And instead of accepting this normality, these women look for a way out. In the early months of a relationship, everything feels new. Everything is exciting. Every meeting is a thrill. Every touch is an explosion of chemistry. But as soon as the honeymoon phase fades, as soon as routine appears, planning weekends, running errands, settling into habits, she begins to feel trapped. And so she runs, convinced that out there, beyond familiar, she will once again find the festival of emotion she craves. It's important to understand that this isn't simply carelessness. It's a psychological avoidance mechanism. She cannot bear the quiet, because in the quiet, she is forced to listen to her own voice. And in that voice, there are fears, loneliness, and questions she doesn't know how to answer. A new man doesn't just give her passion. He gives her distraction. He drowns out the silence. He makes her feel emotion. But like any distraction, it doesn't last. The thrill fades and boredom returns. And with it, the impulse to leave and search again. This is why such women so often have a history of constant changes. Every few months, a new passion, a new fling, a new beginning. She may even convince herself and others that she's searching for true love. But in reality, she's not searching for someone special. She's only searching for a way to escape boredom. The paradox is this: real love always passes through the phase of the ordinary. That is where trust grows. That is where depth is born. And if someone runs from this stage, they will never truly experience the fullness of love. And so the woman who cannot endure routine will always quickly choose others. She isn't betraying a specific man. She is betraying the very idea of stability. For some women, relationships are not so much about love or closeness as they are about status. Being with someone is not only about companionship, it's about showing the world, look who I can have. Such a woman quickly chooses new men not because she truly falls in love, but because each new partner becomes part of her showcase. One is handsome and charming. Another is successful and powerful. A third is exotic and unusual. For her, these are trophies, a collection that makes her feel more valuable in her own eyes and in the eyes of others. The psychology here is simple. She sees herself as a product that must always be advertised. And in her mind, the best advertisement is male attention. The more men there are, and the more diverse they are, the higher her market value seems. She is essentially saying, look at me, everyone wants me. I can have anyone I choose. But the deeper truth is that inside, she feels incomplete. She is afraid that without these constant proofs, no one will notice her value. And so, new men are not about love, they are about display. Her behavior is often very deliberate. She will post photos with a new man only days after breaking up with someone else. She will show up with him in places where she knows her ex will be. This is no accident, it is strategy. Because for her, the point is not how she feels, but how she looks. Women who play the status game often repeat the same phrase, I deserve only the best. Every new partner is used as evidence that she never lowers her standards. But the truth is that these relationships are shallow. They resemble marketing campaigns more than genuine intimacy. And so a woman who plays a game of status will always quickly choose others. Because the new man doesn't matter for who he is. What matters is what he represents, how he can be used to support her image. There is another reason, perhaps the most powerful and painful of all. It is the fear of loneliness. Not just being without a man, but being left alone with herself, with her thoughts, with her emptiness, with a silence that echoes questions she cannot answer. For many women like this, silence is not rest, it is a sentence. In silence, the inner voices get louder. Am I really worthy of love? Will anyone choose me again? Am I truly special? These questions are unbearable. So to drown them out, she quickly finds another man. Because a new partner is not only a relationship, he is noise, movement, distraction. Loneliness for her is like a mirror where she sees all her cracks. A new man is the cover she throws over that mirror, so she doesn't have a look at herself. And even if he doesn't suit her, even if he is not the one she really wants, he still fulfills his purpose. He shields her from herself. That's why such women are rarely truly single. Their calendars are always full. There's always someone next to them. But if you look deeper, that someone is not about love. It is just a way to silence the emptiness inside. The Stervazna woman often demonstrates confidence. She will insist, I don't depend on men. I always choose for myself. But that very insistence is the loudest signal of dependence. Because if she were truly free, she would be able to sit alone with herself and not collapse. But she cannot. And so she runs. From one person to another. From one voice to the next. From one bed to another. Not for love, not even for desire, but for silence. The silence she fears more than anything. And that explains why her relationships are always short. Because sooner or later, a real partner will notice she is not with him. She is running from herself. And no matter how many men are beside her, none of them will replace the one conversation she must eventually have. The conversation with herself.